Level 1. The Trillionaire's Awakening. Imagine waking up one morning and seeing a figure with 12 zeros in your bank account. $1 trillion is now yours, and you are officially the richest person in history. Your wealth is now greater than the capital of 4 Jeff Bezoses combined. Even if you spent $1 million every single day, you wouldn't go broke for another 2,700 years. The entire world is literally in the palm of your hand, but with this comes one massive problem. Now every person on Earth knows your name and what your face looks like. You have become the most famous person in the world, and your photo is broadcast on every screen. Right now, hundreds of people are gathering outside your building, creating total chaos. Some have come with cameras, some with signs, and some just stand there silently staring at your windows. Such extreme attention from the crowd makes you feel genuine paranoia. But you are a trillionaire, so any problem can be solved very quickly. You decide to hire security, but 1 or 2 bodyguards turn out to be not enough. You need a full detail, at least 12 elite operators for 24-hour control. These are armed, trained professionals working in 3 shifts, 24 hours a day. This level of protection is usually reserved only for sitting presidents of major nations. You make a few calls, and within 48 hours, your private army is ready for work. You are finally safe, but the old Honda Civic in the garage no longer suits you. Instead of just buying a car, you buy the entire Bugatti company for $2 billion. For your budget, this is such a tiny amount that the accountant calls it a simple rounding error. It's the same as an ordinary person buying a new jacket for the autumn. Level 2. Golden Isolation. Even with the best security, your old home now resembles a siege rather than a house. Paparazzi have literally occupied every meter around your entrance, waiting for just one shot. You urgently need a place where you can just step outside without being caught by lenses. You buy a massive estate, 14 acres of land hidden behind high walls and iron gates. A private road leads so far into the territory that the house cannot be seen from the street. At the entrance, there is now a security post where your people stand guard around the clock. You write a check for $200 million with one effortless flick of your hand. But such a massive estate cannot function on its own. You need a real team. You hire a full staff, cleaners, gardeners, and 2 private chefs. Now you have an estate manager, drivers, and an entire technical maintenance team. A separate IT department deals exclusively with your security systems and servers. Your personal assistant now has their own personal assistant. Within a month, 63 people are already working in your home, providing perfect comfort. Now everything works like clockwork, and you can finally truly start spending. Having $1 trillion, you get a bit bored, so the purchases become larger in scale. You buy a Boeing 747 and completely remodel it into a flying residence. This entertainment costs you $400 million, but these are just numbers on paper. Next, you buy your own island in the Pacific Ocean for total privacy. For travel to the island, you order the largest private yacht in history. On board, there is a cinema, a mini submarine, and your own medical center. Level 3. Money that never sleeps. But there is something no one warned you about. $1 trillion grows faster than you can spend it. Even with the most modest investments, your capital increases by tens of millions every day. Every morning you wake up richer than you were in the evening without even lifting a finger. The questions of money and security are solved, but now you want a simple coffee from the place you've been going to for years. Your security team needs at least 45 minutes to prepare your visit to a regular coffee shop. When you finally step inside, the place instantly goes quiet. Conversations stop. The barista's hands tremble while preparing your order, and someone in the corner is already filming you on a laptop. The coffee tastes the same, but the world around you has changed forever. You decide to do something truly good and write a check for $500 million for disaster relief. The media discusses this for only half a day. As for you, this is just the earnings from one very slow week. People are grateful for only 24 hours, and then they start wanting more. They always want more. However, the most painful thing is not the pressure from strangers, but how the people you've known forever change. Your phone rings constantly, but these are no longer calls from friends. Old friends gradually disappear. Some stop calling, while others sound completely different. You invite your former roommate to your estate for the weekend. He agrees before you even finish the sentence and praises literally everything around. For 2 days, he agrees with your every word and laughs at jokes that aren't funny at all. You used to argue about everything: movies, politics, food. That was your friendship. Now he never disagrees, and you realize that true friendship is a thing of the past. But the change in friends is just the beginning, as the first lawsuits against you begin. Level 4. Legal storm. When you have $1 trillion, you become the biggest target for lawsuits in the world. Former acquaintances, partners, and even people you've never seen before try to sue you for a piece of the pie. You hire an entire legal department, 100 of the best lawyers who live at your estate. Your every step, every comment online, and every old post are now studied under a microscope. You can no longer just go online. Your lawyers have to check your every click. Even stepping out into your own yard requires checking the sky for spy drones. Paparazzi now use satellites to photograph you drinking your morning coffee. You spend $500 million a year on lawyers just so they can keep these lawsuits at a distance. Life turns into endless closed meetings and the signing of non-disclosure agreements. You start to miss the times when your only problem was an unpaid electricity bill. Every meeting now begins with an exchange of documents and a sweep for listening devices. The money that was supposed to give you freedom has built invisible legal walls around you. You feel that your every word could be used against you in court. Even your relatives start communicating with you through official legal requests. You are surrounded by professionals, but you don't feel a single living soul nearby. The world of law turns out to be colder and crueler than the world of big business. You start creating complex trusts to protect your legacy from encroachment. The constant struggle for capital takes up all your time and emotional energy. You realize that a trillionaire is not just an owner, but a perpetual defendant. You are ready for radical changes just to feel like a normal person. Level 5. Absurd toys. To distract yourself from the courts, you start buying things that previously seemed like madness. You buy the original Mona Lisa from the Louvre for $10 billion just to hang it in the bathroom. Then you decide that planes are too slow and build your own network of vacuum trains. You buy an entire space program to build a hotel on the far side of the moon. Earthly food is no longer enough for you, so you hire scientists to recreate fruits that went extinct thousands of years ago. Every such whim costs billions, but the numbers in your account continue to grow anyway. You buy the rights to your favorite TV show and film a new finale where you are the main character. You build an underground city in case of an apocalypse, equipped with everything from parks to aquariums. You buy all the commercial breaks during the Super Bowl just to broadcast 30 minutes of silence and peace. But even buying the whole world, you feel that the true emptiness inside cannot be filled with any check. You order the construction of a 1-to-1 scale pyramid in the middle of the desert. You buy the naming rights to an entire ocean, but it brings you no joy. Your toys become increasingly complex and dangerous. You spend billions on an artificial intelligence that is supposed to become your perfect conversationalist. You realize that no object in the world can give you the feeling of a real life. Luxury becomes familiar and colorless, like old wallpaper. You seek thrills in the most extreme purchases. Every new purchase is just a brief moment of oblivion before returning to reality. You feel that you own everything but have nothing of value. It's time to change the game and move to the level of true power. Level 6, the Puppeteer. When you've bought everything material, you realize that the true currency is influence. You start buying not goods, but laws, financing election campaigns in dozens of countries. Presidents and prime ministers now wait in line just to get 5 minutes of your attention. A single post of yours on social media can crash a whole nation's currency or send it to the heavens. You create your own digital state, where your rules carry more weight than international law. Your satellites provide internet to the remotest corners of the planet, making you an information monopolist. You decide to stop global warming simply by buying up all the world's coal mines and closing them. Millions of people lose their jobs, but you just write everyone a check for social silence. You feel like an architect of reality, moving pieces on a chessboard the size of the planet. However, looking at the world through monitor screens, you see only graphs, not people. Dinner with kings becomes a routine for you, one that makes you sleepy. You notice that even the most powerful people in the world look at you with hidden fear. Your life has turned into an endless protocol where there is no room for chance. You own the world, but you can't just go out for bread without causing a global resonance. The feeling of omnipotence begins to change into a feeling of total emotional deafness. You order a happiness analysis from the world's best institutes, and the results terrify you. You discover that your level of satisfaction is lower than it was when you owned that old Honda. Money has turned into a digital prison, the walls of which are built of pure gold. You decide that it's time for the most expensive experiment of your life. You prepare a disappearance plan that no intelligence agency in the world can track. Level 7, Operation Anonymity. You spend $3 billion on the development of liquid silicone technology to change facial features. Now, with the help of a mask, you can turn into any ordinary person in a matter of minutes. You buy regular clothes at a supermarket, feeling a strange thrill from this simple action. Your first outing into the city without security gives you an adrenaline rush that a flight into space didn't provide. You enter the subway and no one, absolutely no one, pays any attention to you. You sit on a park bench and just watch the pigeons, enjoying your invisibility. You start meeting people, calling yourself an ordinary freelancer or a teacher. For the first time in years, someone laughs at your joke because it's actually funny. You meet a girl in the library who criticizes your views on economics, not knowing who you really are. This feeling of resistance and real opinion seems to you like the most expensive gift in the universe. You start living a double life. By day, you are the lord of the world. By night, an ordinary resident of a sleeping district. In your poor apartment, there are no golden toilets, but you sleep more soundly there. However, the secret begins to weigh on you, creating a gulf between your two realities. Your security team is in a panic because they don't understand where you disappear to every evening. You begin to wonder, is it even possible to return to a normal life with such power? You see news about yourself on TV in a cheap bar and hear how people hate you. It hurts, but it's the truth you would never have heard in your golden cocoon. You realize that your charity was just a way to buy off your conscience. You decide to change your strategy and start using your trillion anonymously. But the world is already preparing a new challenge for you that cannot be solved with money. Level 8. The price of salvation. A massive crisis grips the world, one that cannot be ignored even from your private island. a global resource shortage puts billions of lives at risk, and all eyes are on you. You realize that your money is an opportunity to literally save civilization. You allocate $200 billion for ocean cleaning technology and new energy sources. Instead of yachts, your factories now produce medical equipment and water filters. You personally visit affected regions anonymously, without cameras or PR. You see real tears of gratitude from people who don't even know your name. This gives you more pleasure than any purchase of a luxury estate. However, the radical changes you implement affect the interests of other powerful players. A real secret war begins against you by those who want to preserve the old order. You face cyber attacks attempting to freeze your accounts and wipe out your capital. Your digital state is under threat, and you have to personally defend the servers. You realize that money is a tool, but true power lies in your mind. You outsmart your enemies by creating a decentralized system that cannot be destroyed. All this stress makes you look at life from a different angle. You see how your wealth saves lives, but you yourself remain only an observer. You return to your estate again and look at the empty halls that were once important. You realize that accumulation is a road to nowhere, and a legacy is change. You prepare the last, boldest financial move of your career. You decide to make your capital a publicly accessible tool for human development. Level 9. Return to the stars. You create a global fund where every spending decision is made by a transparent algorithm. Most of your trillion is now working for education, ecology, and science. You keep only 1% for yourself, which is enough for a life of luxury, but you are no longer interested in that. You remember your dream of space and decide to go there as an explorer, not a tourist. Your team builds a ship capable of reaching Mars in record time. Before departure, you walk the streets of the city where it all began one last time. You see new schools and hospitals built by your fund and feel at peace. You walk into that same cafe where it used to be silent, but now you are simply not recognized. You order the same coffee, sit at the same table, and just enjoy the moment. Suddenly, a person approaches you and asks if they can sit down next to you. You talk about the weather, and it seems like a true victory over loneliness. Launch day arrives, and you board the ship that you designed yourself. As the rocket lifts off, you feel the entire weight of responsibility staying below. You look at Earth from the porthole and see it as one tiny, fragile dot. There are no borders or currencies there, only blue beauty. You realize that $1 trillion is just sand compared to the majesty of the universe. In zero gravity, you take off your mask and look in the mirror at your true face. You see not a trillionaire, but a person who has finally found their place. You start writing a book about your journey to share your experience. The ship stays on course for the stars, and you are ready for the encounter with the unknown. Level 10. A legacy without borders. 10 years have passed. Your name is a legend, but your identity is a mystery to many. You live on the Martian station, managing scientific projects of the future. Your money has become the fuel for human progress. You see humanity uniting around common goals that you helped formulate. You no longer feel paranoia because your value is no longer measured by numbers. Every day you look at the stars and realize that true capital is knowledge. You step onto the surface of another planet and feel the red sand under your feet. It is cold and dangerous, but it is the real life you dreamed of. You remember your old Honda with a smile as part of another era. You realize that being rich is about how much you've given away. You have become free from the golden shackles you once put on yourself. You look at Earth and see that it has become cleaner and safer. Your story inspires millions of people to seek meaning beyond consumption. You realize that your trillion was just a test that you passed. You sit in the silence of your Martian office and listen only to your own breath. Life is the art of creating what will outlive you. You close your eyes and see a network of light from the people you helped. You are ready to hand over management of the station and go even further into space. Your journey is only beginning because boundaries exist only in our imagination. You are a person who had everything and finally found yourself.